Now, I am a very big fan of dividends. It's such an easy way to grow your wealth without a need to actively buy or sell stocks or funds. In fact, if you followed my YouTube channel, my whole strategy revolves around dividend investing. I built a portfolio of dividend-paying stocks that now earns me $17,000 a month or $206,000 a year. But you see, this isn't the only way to earn dividends here in the Philippines. I've talked about Pag-ibig MP2 before, where I showed how your dividends are computed yearly. So I suggest you watch that first if you're curious about the best time of the year to invest in order to get the highest amount of dividends the next year. Now, just a quick preview of Pag-ibig MP2. It's a voluntary savings program with a 5-year maturity. Its average return since 2011 is 6.24%. Just for simplicity, if you invested $1 million, you would get $62,000. But again, that's the average since 2011. In the past 3 years, 2022 to 2024, it has given a return of more than 7%, so your $1 million would earn you $70,000, and that gets compounded again, earning you more the next year, and it's all tax-free. Your savings are also government guaranteed, so you're sure to get all the money you invested after 5 years. So it's a safe investment compared to stocks, where if you don't know what you're doing, there's a big chance you'll lose a lot of money. Now, I'm also investing in MP2. My total contribution since 2022 is $1,015,000, and since then, I've earned $99,853. Now, if you're wondering why my dividends are quite small, even though I have $1 million in my account, it's because I didn't lump sum all of this in 2022. I slowly built it up over the years. That's the only drawback of MP2. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I showed how Pag-ibig computes your dividends, and it depends on which month you've invested. The later you invest your money in the year, the lower your dividends will be the next year. Unlike with stocks, where as long as you buy before the ex-dividend date, even if you dump your money 1 or 2 days before it, you'll still get a full amount of dividends. With MP2, it doesn't work that way. That's why if you're contributing monthly and your dividends aren't what you expected, it's because they use a different formula. So I suggest you watch my video explaining that. Now, why am I investing this amount in MP2 rather than putting all my money in stocks? Here's the explanation. I divide my money based on goals. My stock investments are for financial freedom and generational wealth, so I won't be touching that for the next 20 to 30 years. I'll just let it compound and compound. For my MP2 investment, this is allocated for my future house, which I plan to build in the next 2 to 4 years. So back when I started my MP2 in 2022, that's a 5 to 7 years planning. Yes, if you look at it, my stock investments beat the returns in my MP2 portfolio. But here's the thing, stocks are very volatile, and even I'm not confident putting money there that I know I'll be using within the next 5 to 7 years. Though the returns are smaller, my money here is still working for me. Just imagine, where else could you get almost $100,000 and I still have 2 more years before my MP2 matures. So I'm estimating that by the time this fund matures, I'll have earned around $300,000 to $400,000 in dividends, as I will be constantly adding to it. That's a big addition to my house budget, and if I hold on to this for 2 more years after maturity, it would still earn interest at the MP1 rate, which is still above 5%. This could boost my dividends to $400,000 to $500,000, because if you didn't know, you can leave your fund in MP2 even after maturity. It will still earn for 2 more years, but at the MP1 rate. After that, you won't be earning anymore. So this is how I divide my money. Not everything is put into stocks. It depends on when I'll need the money. That's why it's important to plan at least 5 years ahead. Don't just go all in without a plan. Actually, I even have money allotted for solar panels. This is in my VUL. I plan to sell it once the market rises, hopefully in the near future. In that fund, I save up roughly $200,000. So 2 or 3 years from now, maybe it can grow to $300,000 or even more, especially if markets recover. This would serve as an add-on to my solar panel budget, which I've computed to have a higher rate of return. My goal is to always have my money work for me, even my emergency fund. I don't want any of it to be stagnant. For me, compounding is the key to eventually getting out of the rat race. Even if you earn a salary of $100,000 a month, it won't get you far if you rely on savings alone. Now, before we dive into the numbers, if you're looking to start investing but still have no clue which broker to use, look no further than DRAGONFI. DRAGONFI is an online brokerage that's very beginner-friendly. They provide tons of resources to help you learn about investing, including research, analytics, and even recommended buy below prices under the Signature Portfolio tab. You can follow their dividend harvest and strategic growth portfolios. And they've even added a new DRAGONFI dividend benchmark showcasing what they believe are the best dividend-paying stocks in the Philippines. Plus, you can follow fellow investors like me through the InvestingPH portfolio, where you can see all the stocks I invest in, their buy prices, and so much more. So sign up to DRAGONFI using my link, and both of us can get up to 1,500 depending on your initial funding. Now let's get back to the video. Just so you have an idea, let's say your savings rate is 10,000 a month. After 30 years, your total savings would only amount to 3,610,000. 30 years from now, with inflation and everything, that's a small amount. But what if you earned around 6% dividend yield, like in MP2? Your savings would now grow to 9,544,000, almost tripling your money, and you'd be earning around 572,000 a year in dividend income, or around 47,000 a month. Of course, this would be a bit lower if you use Pag-ibig's real computation, and there's also the hassle of having to reinvest every 5 years, but more or less, that's a rough estimate. Now, it gets better. What if you invest in good dividend-paying stocks like I do, and your portfolio's dividend yield grows by 2% per year, a very conservative figure? Your money would then grow to over 13.2 million, but the best part, you'd now have an annual dividend income of 1.4 million or 119k a month. Imagine retiring with that monthly income. This already accounts for the 10% tax on dividends. And keep in mind, this is a smaller figure because we're not even factoring in capital growth yet. Imagine adding that to your SSS pension, which, let's be honest, is very small. Here in the Philippines, you get a little over 15,000. That's why compounding is the key to growing your money. You need to allocate your funds based on your goals. If the money is meant to be used in the next 1 to 2 years, then put it in something more stable. If the funds won't be touched for the next 5+ years, then it becomes easier to find investment vehicles that can give you 5 to 7% returns. Like for me, if it's for financial freedom and generational wealth, then I put it in stocks, real estate, or businesses. But personally, stocks are my choice because that's what suits me the most. And if you're in your 20s, this is the best time to start. Time is on your side. You have the advantage to take more risks and compound your money as early as possible. I started my investing journey at 23, right after graduating from dentistry. If only I had known about investing back in college, I would have started even earlier. Even just opening an MP2 account back then would have been great. The earlier you start, the better. But even if it didn't start in your 20s, the next best time is now. Study the investment vehicle you're going to use, even if it's as simple as MP2. The riskier it is, the more you need to study it first before jumping in. There are already so many influencers and guides out there. Back then, they were rare. But now, the Philippines is slowly waking up to investing. With that, I hope you've learned something from this video, and if it did, leave a thumbs up. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.